Yo, everyone, welcome back to Mr. Money TV live on Thursday night. And this is Mr. Money Peter.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Nice to see you guys again. This is Frankie FAQ Show.
All right. Frankie, 恭喜發財.
恭喜發財.
Is this our first
First episode of podcast after Chinese New Year.
Ooh, fantastic.
Yeah.
You see, I'm so busy lately that I don't even remember, like, is this like the first episode, second episode, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Last week we had a Chinese New Year break, ma.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. And so, how was your Chinese New Year break like? What do you do?
Oh, this time round, we actually put a lot of effort to celebrate. So we have a lot of small open house and all that. Invite different people and all that. Yeah, this weekend you're coming to my house, right?
That's right. Yeah. Are you telling everyone this because it's an open invite for the world? Or?
Oh, if you all want to come, also can
Oh,
come. If you know where's my house.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that everyone know how your house look like. Yeah, and the rough location.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, having said that, today's topic is gonna be about Trump, right?
Yes.
At the moment we came back from Chinese New Year, I think Trump has been amazing.
Yeah.
More popular than any influencer on earth.
Yeah.
Now, recently a particular channel popped up on my YouTube.
Okay.
It's called Kai Trump.
Kai, Kai.
Kai Trump.
Oh. What does the channel talk
The
about?
granddaughter of Donald Trump.
Oh.
Within just 3 months,
Mm.
she already amassed millions of followers. Yeah,
Maybe we should start a channel with that name there also.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine that, and that, like imagine her first video was when,
Mm.
her first video was out, if I'm not wrong, about 4 or 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much there. 4 or 5 months ago, and now she already has about 979.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does the channel talk about?
Okay, it's just kind of like a vlog and stuff like that.
Mm.
And definitely, obviously, it is. She go and see the rocket launch with SpaceX, Elon Musk.
Mm.
She did a video about my grandfather became a president again, stuff like that. And up to now, well,
Mm.
she's just really milking it. That's what I can tell you. So my point is this, right? If you actually observe the whole family of Trump,
Mm.
they're all business people.
Mm.
And I think,
Mm.
like what Trump said during his inauguration,
Mm.
the golden age of America has begun.
He's saying to himself,
I think it's both to himself and to the world.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, today is probably the first day that we are covering his news after inauguration as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your general thoughts so far?
Wow, this guy, I think some of the policies that, well, not policies, but what do you call it, executive orders, never really put a lot of thoughts into it. One. It's just by intuition, right? Like,
Right.
I feel like I want to do this, so do first. What's going to happen later? We think about it later, but I want to do it first. Maybe he want to send a signal to the relevant party of what is his intention or what not. That part I don't know. But it seems like there is very little thoughts go into it. He don't care about what consequence that his words or his action will end up doing.
Right.
Mm.
Now, actually, I think Trump, at this point as a president, he kind of reminds me of a loan shark collecting debt.
Eh?
Okay, you know how when people borrow money, right?
Mm.
And then they haven't paid back, and then a loan shark will go a house and
Oh,
then they throw paint, they lock the thing. Then
Yeah.
after that, later you call them, then only they come and open it back for you to threaten you. Or maybe more like a landlord who tried to threaten you with things.
Mm.
I'm gonna go in, take out all your stuff, but actually he cannot do that lah.
Mm.
He just play something and then make you feel extremely threatened, then you kind of try to
Yeah.
make a deal with him.
Right. But to be fair, he's a landlord.
Correct. and here's where I think over the past few weeks, or either the past week itself, clearly display Trump's natural ability or generally his style of doing things, which is he will threaten you with something very extreme,
Yep.
and then he will just make a U-turn immediately
Mm.
and allow you to come, let's negotiate.
Mm.
So I start with slap Canada and Mexico with the tariff, 25%, and even lower than 10% of China.
Yep.
And then say, tomorrow we're gonna start already. And then
Yeah.
immediately what happened is when you call him, then tonight he say, oh okay lah,
Uh,
let me put it on hold and we discuss first lah.
mm,
Mm.
yeah. So as a politician, I don't think that should be the way how you operate lah. Because when you throw out a policy like that, right, it is going to change everybody's way of doing things. Everybody needs to adjust and adapt to the newer order. Now, when you come out with an executive like that, then obviously the next day, as a business, as a person and whatnot, then we will have to plan and say, okay, if this is the new executive order, maybe I need to do business differently. So tomorrow, let's have an emergency meeting, for example. Then while you're planning your things to do that, by the evening of that day itself, then suddenly you hold it, suspend, and U-turn. Then as a business person or as an individual,
That's
then
right.
how am I supposed to move on?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, this is what's happening right now. I was just listening to a podcast, right? When it went to the World Economic Forum Day.
Mm,
So they all have all their different houses. If I'm not wrong, it was a Bloomberg's podcast.
mm,
So one thing he said was this. They said that the issue about Trump is he keeps changing his mind, and how he changed his mind, it all depends on who is he hanging out with as well. For
mm,
example, this afternoon he may be hanging out with Elon Musk, and then
mm,
suddenly Elon Musk say A B C D E, he
mm,
will buy it. Tomorrow he will announce something one.
mm.
Now then the issue is this, unlike in the past, many presidents to meet him, there's a lot of process. It's not easy to meet him. But for the first time ever, this particular president
Mm,
loves to be directly associated with any business person who's famous. Now, in the past, if you're Biden, you want to see Jeff Bezos, Biden will be careful to be seen with
correct,
Jeff
correct,
Bezos,
correct.
but he doesn't care. So later he'll just have a coffee with you
Yeah.
if you're famous enough. Now, and the issue is this. So when he goes into a private meeting,
Mm,
no one knows who's there.
mm,
You can't predict who's there as well. And
mm,
because of that, as a journalist, you may be preparing, say, a news piece
mhm,
based on what you hear from your informant in the morning. You may have been thinking about publishing it.
mm.
By evening, when you're about to publish,
Outdated.
outdated already, because it just changed his idea.
Right.
And now even news outlets are actually struggling
Mm.
because you just do not have enough time to prepare what's to come.
Yep.
And that clearly displays Trump's ability to just throw out things
Mm.
and then try to strike a deal with you. Now, I don't think that at the end of the day he really wants to go into a fight or whatever. He's just threatening people
Mm.
just to strong arm his way into things.
Correct.
And that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes without thinking what is the consequence, right? The day I was reading one article. So the 10% tariff of China, obviously it is to send a signal to China that, hey, you better listen to me because if not, we're going to start a trade war again. And one of his executives is also to try to, revive is not a good word, but try to make the automotive industry within America to thrive again, right? So you have your Ford and things like that. Hopefully they can sell more cars. But the issue is this. Ford itself, for example, they are importing a lot of parts from China. And now you are slapping China with 10% tariff. Your Ford cars is going to be more expensive. Then on one end, you want to promote your local automotive industry, but you're making your local automotive industry hard to operate because of inflation, things are getting expensive and stuff like that.
That's right.
So yeah, so that is my point of he didn't think deep
That's
into the
right.
consequences into it and just simply just say things like this. So I'm not sure whether he may even U-turn on this policy if, let's say, enough businessmen go to him and say, because like you say just now, a lot of businessmen can access to him and all that, right? So I'm pretty sure all these big shots will go to him and say, hey, boss, yes, I know what you're trying to do, but you are killing yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So really, we have no idea what's he gonna. Maybe we may U-turn on the tariff. He may also end up U-turning on the car industry.
Uh,
Suddenly he say we should go green. Yeah.
I
Then
don't know.
that's a
Yeah.
like you really cannot predict what this guy is gonna do, right?
Mm,
I guess another thing that is really interesting is that his bold statements of when it comes to geopolitical stuff,
mm,
right?
mm,
Like the immediate idea of going to the presidents of Denmark and then Canada say that you belong to me, I want to buy you. And recently he said that he's gonna stop the Gaza war by taking over Gaza, right? And he's gonna redevelop Gaza, making it to the Riviera of Middle East. Now, what on earth does that even mean, right? What do you mean you're gonna take over Gaza? You see, at one point he's just trying. His policy was, oh, we will not meddle into the business that has not to do with Americans because America for America, and we're gonna protect ourselves. We're not gonna send out aids to overseas.
Correct.
Oh, by the way, we want to buy over Gaza. Then what? Gaza people become U.S. citizens? What are you talking about, man?
I don't think he's interested in the politics of Gaza. La. Maybe there are some assets that he's eyeing for and whatnot.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now suddenly it becomes like, are you sure what you're talking about? And what happened is that because of the way he runs his nation, he is making every single business and every country always on their feet. It's like you're sitting on needles, pricks of needles. You just can't sit still.
Correct.
Because at any point of time, you just going to react to something that could be just a smoke bomb, could be a real bomb. Yeah. So I think what is gonna happen is this. The bad side is he's gonna make it hard for businesses to move forward
Too fast. Yeah.
So because you think about it, if you want innovation, you want progression, you want a stable environment. One of the most important thing about a stable government is that stability allows you to move fast.
Correct.
You won't say that tomorrow if I invest 10 million into a factory, then I have a new order coming out and say that, a foreigner cannot own more than 30%. You know, this kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and this is what he kind of preventing things to happen. And because America is still the tycoon of the world, I think the downside for him is this. He's going to backfire. In terms of the world may be more united to fight against him. Because how he's playing the game is this right now. You all know that I'm Taiko, right? You all come and be my good friend. Don't be friend among yourself. It's a bit of a divide and conquer strategy, right? I'm just going to slap tariff to everyone or whatnot, and then you all individually come and talk to me. Yeah. And then I make deals based on whether I like you or not or whatever things that interest me.
Yep.
Now, but what he don't see is that if people all unite as one,
Yep.
then it may backfire.
Yep. We talked about this actually 2 weeks ago, right? We were saying probably in the future is America plus the rest of the world. So and the rest of the world may also find one leader to be their spokesperson to say.
That's right.
And the spokesperson would likely be the world's second largest economy in the world.
That's right.
So this kind of situation, we will see how it plays out as time goes by.
So I think what we can see right now is that even in Malaysia, our Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim actually went to Europe and he's trying to kickstart some trade partnership agreements with Euro, right, and European Union and with the EU. And these are some of those agreements that very long time ago already talked about but haven't really do yet. So now he's trying to revive those things. So what happens is that we're going to see more and more nations trying to have direct access with each other instead of going through America.
Yep.
But because America is still so strong, well, it is bound to have a strong influence. Yeah,
Yes.
that's something that we are definitely going to observe in the near future. Now, anything else that you want to talk about in terms of tariffs, in terms of external policies or stuff?
Yeah. I just want to talk about the U-turn, this kind of policies, right? For us in Malaysia, I think we can probably say that we are veteran enough in the sense to maybe tell our friends outside Malaysia that this is not a good thing. If you recall during pandemic time, how many times we changed prime minister?
5 times.
5 times, huh? So for Malaysia,
No, 5 times. 2 times. Sorry, 5 times.
Two times. Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah, sorry.
Correct. 2 times. So within the 2 times, we had 3 prime ministers, lah. So every time we change prime minister, obviously every leader will have their style, their objective they want to achieve, and things like that. And during the time, we already experienced before all these policy U-turns and stuff like that, and we already experienced the consequences as well. All these foreign investments and all that, they were a bit worried if they come to Malaysia and then you U-turn again, then that may work against them. So during that period of time, Malaysia FDI was affected a little bit. Some businesses also think that, hey, maybe I want to set up my operations in other countries as well. Now, the situation is happening differently in the US is that instead of having 2-3 presidents within 2 to 3 years, is the one person doing the three man's job. He is the one who is trying to change things around. And they are not a small economy like Malaysia. I mean, if Malaysia collapse in terms of economy today in the world context, the world cannot feel. In the world, okay lah,
Sad.
yeah, life just move on. But if a big economy like US is behaving like Malaysia in the past, the implication can be very, very serious for the rest of the world. And that has made the stock market go haywire as well. Right? Today it can go 2%, tomorrow it go down another 2%. As a trader, as an investor, as a fund manager, I think everyone is really on their feet, like you say, like they don't know what they should do right now.
That's right. Yeah, and with that in mind, right, I think one of the things that's really interesting is that this could end up being quite a good traders market as we were talking about it, right? Because you're gonna be having a lot of chances of it going ups and down, ups and down.
Yep.
Although generally we would say that the bigger trend is still an uptrend.
Yep.
Yeah, but it means that there's gonna be more volatility in this uptrend, which means that you have more opportunity to make frequency of trades to increase your capacity. And just to let you guys know one thing, right? Recently, one of the teas that I've been teasing Frankie with, and I'm trying to get him to do, is that he was a. How many trades have you made over the past few days?
Past few days I was a little bit more quiet because the market is too volatile. I cannot. I got no time to look at it so closely. So very few.
So for those who don't know, actually Frankie made about 100 over trades.
You calculated that day, 21 days, 105
105 trades. Yeah, 105 trades in 21 days. I have to say that definitely this one is not to say unachievable in terms of professional level, but for normal people like us, especially with a full-time job, is going to be hard. So just in case you're wondering, does that mean that Frankie don't work? Actually, no. So I've tested this from the day I work here until today. It doesn't affect his working capacity one. He still deliver the same thing. So then I was asking him, why not you come up with a workshop,
sharing session,
a workshop to teach people how to be a trader while having a full-time job.
Productivity.
Productivity workshop, right? Yeah, if you guys think that this is a good one, like because I understand some of you actually love trading as well. Yeah, if you think it is something that maybe Frankie should share his idea on how to actually be so productive in his trading while at the same time being productive at work. Yeah, you all should actually say put one in the comment. Then maybe he's gonna design something, right?
Yep.
But yeah, that's truly something that amazed me more than anything else at this point, because I don't think it's that easy. And number two, he's making money lah, right? He made I think about 5 to 6K USD.
Yeah.
In just that few days.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. With a capital of 6K, so double.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, if you guys are interested, write one in the comment. Then we'll try to work on something like that, a workshop or sharing, so that people know how to, you are able to trade productively while yet at the same time have a productive work as well. All right. Now, I guess the next thing that I want to talk about is actually on his internal policies within the country, right? So one of the things that I read just a few days back was, after the inauguration, about 2 million federal servants, right, received a letter
from Elon Musk.
Not from Elon Musk.
Not from him.
From one of the department under the president's part. It's kind of like our JPA like that.
Okay.
Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam, which means the HR for government service. Voluntary separation scheme. In other words, right? So what happens is that if you choose to voluntarily resign right now, you will be given a salary up to September.
September. So 9 months of salary.
9 months of salary.
Oh, okay. What actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the words that they use is very similar to the words that Elon Musk used. So we all know where this idea come from, and he did talk about it that they want to make it more efficient. They want to remove people. Now,
Right.
what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And before we go into how it affect lah the pros
Right.
and cons, let's just talk about like, do
Right.
you think that, like in your personal opinion,
Mm.
is it a good thing or bad thing first?
In the American context, I think it is not something that is too exaggerate because they are a capitalist market, right? So capitalist market, free market. So if you have the quality and if you are the person that your employer is looking for, then you get the job. If no, then no, right? It is very straightforward. And the fact that they're coming out with a package that is 9 months of compensation, I think that should be sufficient enough for you to really come out, take a break, and then start to look for new jobs and then go inside there and then adapt to your new job. I think 9 months is quite okay. So I wouldn't say that is an unfair kind of offer. But from a political perspective, then I don't think this is a good move. Because as a policymaker, at the end of the day, what you want is stability. What you want is not too much not too much movement on your data that will affect your policy making in the next couple of quarters or next couple of years. Because when you do these things, right, what's going to happen is that maybe a lot of people is going to take up that offer. But then you have a question: are they really able to get a new job outside? What if 9 months later things are going to turn bad with some more your boss everyday change policy one, right? So so there are a lot of question marks there. It is not that okay, today you go out there, the assumption is you are going to get a job. With this kind of situation, I really don't know, right? So it becomes harder for people in the government, the civil servants that are left there, going to help the president to craft new policies that will ensure that your employment is stable.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So here's the part that I feel like it's interesting, right?
Mm.
I mean, all of us do agree. I think, especially Malaysians, right? We
Yeah.
know that there are a lot of civil servants who are not very productive.
Mm.
And how good is it if we can, you know,
Yeah.
deal with those issues? And the way he deal with it is, wow, so straightforward, right? Like VSS like that.
Mm.
Um, I'm semi impressed, but at the same time, again, I think there's an issue because, like you say, if let's say 2 million of them, 10% of them took up the offer,
Yep.
it means that you have 200,000 of people who are unemployed.
Mm.
Assuming only 50% of them found a job, you have 100,000 Americans unemployed.
Mm.
How much will this affect their employment market?
Mm.
That's one thing, right? Now, number two, with so many people in the working space trying to look for work, you also bring down the salary
Yep.
increase because now I got more people needing a job,
Correct.
right?
And you don't even know whether they are fit for the private market as well.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. Yeah. Now, then you can say, what about if we help them to get employment? I mean, the fact that the 2 million people got the thing, chances are they are not the most effective as well. So, what makes you think that the
private
private
side.
sector want to take these people over?
Mm.
Now, unless you're trying to tell me that, oh, okay, the certain department in total we want to close down, then you say this one you can privatize it. Maybe you work alongside with certain private sector to run it. Let's say, for example, it's a landscaping department.
Mm.
Then you privatize landscaping lah. You
Mm.
leave only one coordinator there, and that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But it requires a lot more planning, not just simply throw it out.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this has also happened in Malaysia before during Tun Mahathir's period when he was prime minister. He prioritized things like the airport, Malaysia Airlines, plus highway, that kind of things, because he knows that the government could not cope with so many assets. So might as well let the professional to run it. So therefore, he decided to IPO these companies and let the professional runs it. So that could be one solution.
Now, another thing that happened was that, if I'm not wrong, they have this particular department that's supposed to give money to DEI efforts.
Hmm.
I don't know, straight away cut. Straight away no budget. And then no answer. So apparently everyone is a little bit hanging in the limbo right now.
Too drastic. Too drastic. You don't have plan B and then you straight away cut people's water pipe like that. then how what are they supposed to do, right? Yeah.
That's right. But I think he's quite smart.
Hmm.
You know why? If you start with being so drastic, right? You got first 100 days to prove results, and people are forgetful.
Hmm.
You still got 4 years to make them forget.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Instead of being too slow.
Hmm.
Mm.
But he better come up with a concrete policy of how to make America great again lah, and not just continue to be like, hey, I'm Taiko, you must listen to me lah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's what he's been doing, threatening everyone.
Yeah.
But one thing that I would say that is a saving grace of people who are not in America.
Eh? What does that mean?
Okay, I think at this point a lot of countries feel a little bit threatened,
Hmm.
right? What is the main concern of tariffs and all these implication of America being much more inward looking?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is they are one of the biggest market,
Yep.
which means that they have the largest one of the largest amount of consumer,
Mm.
and it means that
Oh.
ultimately they are the end user of a lot of the products that's created in the world.
Yep.
Okay,
They are self-sufficient.
that's right.
Mm.
And you want to give them things
Mm.
because if they stop buying your stuff, you're gonna be in trouble. That's number one. Number two is technological advancement
Mm.
because they can choose because they also own the most innovative technology.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's not like China. China got consumer,
Mm.
but they don't own the most innovative technology.
But we don't know whether 3 to 5 years later this is going to change.
That's right.
Ah.
And here is where the saving grace is.
Mm.
Over the past few days, the market did not just went down because of Trump or anything, but
Mm.
DeepSeek shake the whole market.
Yes.
I think this is one thing that we
Correct.
have to.
Correct.
It deserves a whole different channel, but I thought it's good to kind of like talk about it
Mm.
as well. Now, I think DeepSeek presents a bigger problem for Trump as well that he's not seeing.
Mm.
Yeah. What DeepSeek did is that they kind of show the world that you don't really need the most advanced technology to to build an advanced technology,
Mm.
right?
You
Yeah.
just need to be smarter.
You just need smarter with your
Yeah.
processors. Because in the past, Nvidia was leading because I have the best chip, and if you want to build any advanced AI, you need to use my chip.
Mm.
But what they did is with minimal amount, I don't know is Nvidia chip involved at
It is.
all,
It is.
but with minimal amount,
Mm.
they are able to create something that is on par with ChatGPT or
Mm.
even better.
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
they are also shameless in the sense where you ask DeepSeek who are you, they say they are ChatGPT, which means that they also use ChatGPT to train themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And one more thing that raised a lot of question now is that you have so many rounds, so many years, so many policies during the trade war that stops American companies from selling all these advanced chips to China, and yet China is able to come up with DeepSeek using their technology.
That's right.
So how effective is these policies actually?
Mm.
Yeah.
So now, remember, they also stopped, they made Malaysia tier 2 in terms of chips,
Mm.
right? So what happens is that our data center, I think in total can only have 50,000 chips for the whole
I don't know
Malaysia.
what's the number,
I
but
can't
yeah.
remember. But basically, there's a limit. Uh, and because of that, our proxies for AI all drop.
Mm.
Now, while it dropped in terms of stock market, I think it's actually good for Malaysia.
Mm.
Why? Because they still need a data center.
Mm.
And now you don't need all these high-end chip. It means that Malaysia is still a good option.
Mm.
And because
True.
of that, now we can move a supply chain of smart people into Malaysia without the need to have the best chips.
Mm.
At a basic level of income and well-being and status, education and skill transfer, I think is good for Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now
Makes
what does
sense.
it mean? Is this US has been hanging on that as their main source of dominance.
Mm.
And if they lose that grip, they are not far from losing the grip of consumerism. Yeah.
Mm. But what do you think? Do you think they are going to lose their grip?
I think Trump being Trump, he will likely end up striking a deal again.
You send these people back, I don't impose tariff on you. That kind.
I have no idea. Uh, but Trump is definitely not ashamed to U-turn.
Mhm.
He is not ashamed to make money. I mean, just look at it. His whole cabinet. I was just doing this reading that I was telling you, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I was reading The Economist. They say this: Trump's new government assembled is one of the wealthiest administration in history.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
two of the richest, Howard Lutnick, okay, which is supposed to be a Commerce Secretary, and Linda McMahon, who's supposed to be the Education nominee.
Mhm.
Their wealth is in billions.
They're all business
Mr.
people.
Lutnick is the chairman of this company called Cantor Fitzgerald Brokerage and Investment Bank.
Mm.
Miss McMahon is World Wrestling.
Mm.
Ah.
Yeah.
So they are billionaires. Okay. Every other people in the lineup, property developer lah, all these kind of things.
Mhm. He's basically making all the mistakes that a policymaker shouldn't do. You're appointing all this. Uh.
People who have interest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is so I can foresee, okay, a lot of his plans moving ahead will be very short term. And these short term plans will help him to make money but create long term ripple that will slow the country down in
in the 5th year onwards.
yeah.
Mm.
But in the first 5 year I think it will look beautiful lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I really
I mean, the first week he already made tens of billions from his meme coin already, right?
that's right, he's not ashamed, you know. He's not
Yeah.
ashamed. Like, no shame on this guy. Wait, bro, no
Yeah.
shame, man. No
Yeah.
shame. Really like no shame. No shame.
Mm.
Power lah this guy. So I think to go align back with our title, what's the next move and how could Malaysia be affected?
Mm.
What are our thoughts?
Right. For good or for bad, right? Two of Malaysia's biggest trading partners is China and the US, and both are fighting. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think 1/3 of Malaysian semiconductor is going to China, and then quite a significant number goes to the US as well. If US impose a tariff of 10% to China, then obviously China's product cannot be sold to America. That may affect the demand for Malaysia chips. That may slow our semiconductor, the whole tech sector down, lah, right? Then obviously, then the argument would be, then we just need to find new customers, lor. Maybe we sell it to the US and whatnot. But US also have this onshore policy, right? They are encouraging people to set up local domestic businesses there and not relying so much on overseas. So unless we have plans to also somewhat invest in the US directly to set up like maybe a branch or somewhat of a satellite office over there, it could be, now I'm not saying it will, but it could be that it's going to get harder for foreign companies to do that during this administration, right? If that's the case, then does it mean that for Malaysia going forward, we will need to adjust our earnings expectation of all these companies? Now, semiconductor is just one. Malaysia is also a very large exporter of palm oil to China, to India, and this kind of stuff. And if because the whole world is going to slow down in general, then the palm oil demand from Malaysia is also going to be affected. So the point that I want to get to is that these things will not have winner. Everyone is going to be a loser. And perhaps only that very few people or few groups of people may benefit from whatever that is happening today, which I don't know. Maybe eventually we will spin and say that decentralized assets will be a better option for you to store your wealth because nobody can control it and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the thing lah. So I feel how it could affect Malaysia is that if things don't change, my guess, my estimate is that it is going to be bad for Malaysia and for rest of the world.
Yeah. So I think the question of that, how does it gonna affect Malaysia, um,
Mhm.
and what's he gonna do next? For me is I think it'll be unpredictable of what Trump is gonna do next, but
Mhm.
you just need to think about what benefits in terms of monetary
Mm.
for him lah. Yeah, I think that will give you the biggest hint,
Correct.
right? Number two, how does it affect Malaysia or specifically per se maybe our own investment?
Mm.
Let's talk about the first part. I think I have nothing much to add in terms of how does it affect geopolitically and then business wise.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not going to be good, but I think that there lies an opportunity as well
Mm.
because this is only going to be a 5 year thing. And what happened is that because when he announced something funny, things can crash.
Yep.
I think these 5 years will be a good 5 years to to discover gems that you can invest in.
Mm.
What do I mean by that? I give you a good example like data center. Our proxy for AI are data center in Malaysia,
Yep.
right? Ever since he said that there's not going to be cheap,
Mhm.
dropped like crazy, right? Dropped like
Yep.
crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, but let me give you some data, right? Why do I think that it's going to be a gem? Depending on which company, lah,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Firstly, whether you like it or not, data center expenditure is not slowing down.
Mm.
Yeah. Apparently, according to CBRE, yeah, they do property reports, right? CBRE, right? Just 2.8% of data center in North America is unoccupied. Only 2.8%.
Mm.
And capacity is even pre-leased before it's built.
Correct.
Typically 10 to 15 years. Yeah,
We are very data hungry at this point.
correct.
Mm.
Now, the truth is, all those data center in Malaysia already leased out already,
Mm.
and the contract is 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not, it's gonna be 10 to 15 years.
Mm.
So the fact that the market jitters like that is not realistic one. It is
Mm.
not. It's not rational. It's not rational. Not
Mm.
realistic. Now, does it mean that there's still gonna be demand? Yes, there is still gonna be demand because people like Alphabet, Microsoft, all these, they have been trying to build their cloud infrastructure, and some of them are failing to meet their target because they just do not have enough data center.
Mm.
Yeah. Then we go to AI. AI currently is using only 1/10 of the
Mm.
data center in the world.
Mm.
Yeah. So we are gonna be very hungry for data centers.
Correct.
Whether is it high capacity, low capacity,
Mm.
it's gonna jalan.
Just think of it this way, right? The data that we consume as individual on our phone, just compare last year and this year, I'm pretty sure it's an exponential kind of usage in terms of personal data. Why leh? For example, your TV from 4K become 8K, 8K become 16K. That itself will already double up, triple up your data usage already.
Mm.
Then all the emails that you send, people like us, we create content every day. We would use the servers to upload and whatnot. All this require a lot of data,
Yep.
right? That itself will already explode the demand of a data center. So I think, yeah, you are right. No matter what kind of war that are going on in the world and all that, there has to be some initiatives to continue to build more data centers.
That's right. And on top of that, right, a data center, whether is it gonna be high tech chip or low tech chip, right?
Mm.
They can just swap out the chip, man. It
Mm.
is not like I need to rebuild a data center.
Yep.
Yeah. The only difference apparently is just the usage of power per square feet of a data center.
Yep.
Yeah, because the chip need more power. That's all. That's
Mm.
all. So if the band develop, they can just swap it out.
Yep.
Settle it.
Correct.
Yeah. Because
Yep.
that whole thing is owned by another company.
Mm.
Yeah. So my point is this: how is it going to affect us? You're going to see a lot of volatility, but with that volatility, it means that you have the chance to seize opportunities.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's something that you have to remember that relates back to us lah.
Mm.
There's other things that relate to us, but I don't think that those are the things that we can capture at
Yeah.
a
Correct.
normal level lah.
Yes.
I guess at the business level, I foresee many governments are gonna encourage more bilateral trade with other non-US or non-China countries
Mm.
if our government is doing the right move, right?
We'll see a lot more of signing of these partnerships that, okay, I want to work with you, I want to work with you like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if at this point you are a company who wants to export to Europe, chances are government will be very open to help you to get there.
Mm.
So if you are a company who wants to export your product there, I got a feeling,
Mm.
yeah, you are on a good place to actually expand your business at this point,
Mm.
right? Yeah, especially neutral people, right?
Mm.
So I think that's how it's going to affect Malaysians.
Yep. I don't have much to add. I totally agree with your points over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's all about it at this point.
Yep.
Thank you very much for joining us for today's live.
Mm.
Um, I think there are some questions here. Probably only one. Yeah, maybe you want to answer two of them.
All
Yeah,
right.
one is directed to you, another one is regarding companies.
Okay, let's look at it one by one. So, do you think Malaysia will be greatly affected with tariffs announced by Trump? I think we
We
discussed
already
this
discussed it.
already. I dropped FAQ a DM, but no reply. I want to know more about UFO. Can I know, did you DM IG or where? Maybe after this, I can go and check it out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but if you want to know more about UFO, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to have a video release on FAQ show, specifically talking about UFO, and all the links that you want to find out about this particular training tools will be on that video as well. So stay tuned. 9 o'clock after this live, you can go and check it out. Next one, the recent declining earnings of big companies like US, like Nvidia, NDC, will Trump volatile decision will further affect their earnings? I think the market is trading with a lot of what do you call
Sentiment.
it? Sentiment, correct. That's the right word. But whether it will really happen or not, it still depends on what is the final policy that's going to come out. Because right now, everything is just say any. I say I want to
That's
do
right.
this, then tomorrow change, then the day after new kind of direction and whatnot. So the market is reacting based on all this hearsay. Without concrete policies, right? It is very hard for the market to stabilize. So I wouldn't say that it is going to affect their earnings, but definitely it's going to be very volatile.
Yep. So I would say that ultimately it's going to be volatile. Does it affect a specific company? We cannot be sure until a particular thing comes out or whatever you say lah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of like what stock to buy, don't need ask us lah. We got no answer to
Mm.
that. Now, anyway, thank you very much for joining us. If you like this podcast, you like this show, continue to support us and show us love. Subscribe to the channel, share the podcast with your friends, and I hope that this final Chinese New Year gathering for this week, when you go and talk to your friends and family, you can sound smarter.
Yeah, you can talk about the world politics.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week.
Good night.